Oh my God. Wait, is this the bridge? This looks so... I didn't know it was this high up. Oh, is anyone watching or is anyone following the Delphi trial? All I know is from the information from lawyer, interviewing Andrea Burkhart. Yes, I watched it yesterday. Oh my goodness. What is up with that judge? That sounds so frustrating. Andrea Burkhart was talking about how first couple days of trial, the people that were there, like lining up, they weren't even able to have lunch because of like how stringent the rules were in the courtroom. I was like, what the fuck? That's crazy. You're sitting there for, 8+ hours and can't even get lunch because you have to line up and you're not allowed to bring food into the courthouse. I don't know. I thought it was really, really wild. I wish I was a trial that I could see live, but it's a little too far. And me sitting there for a long time, I don't know. That's not good for my body. The first week of the Sarah Boone trial, my body was already deteriorating. My back was hurting so much. From what I've seen and read about the Delphi trial, it seems like a shit show. I mean, honestly, I remember when the accused, Richard Allen, surfaced. And I think a little bit after that, it just seems like, I don't know, a shit show. Because I remember hearing about he confessed and I was like, oh, okay, so it was him that did it. And then it was like, oh, wait a second. People don't think that he did it. And I was really confused. And then I was like, okay, I'll just watch the fucking trial. And then I didn't realize that the trial was, because I didn't really keep tabs on it. I didn't realize the trial was not televised. So, I don't know. That's weird. Maybe I'll read this recap here for you guys. I don't want to recap it. I don't want to butcher it. Because I learned a huge chunk of the information yesterday. So, what is this? What is this ad? I don't know if he's innocent, but people are saying that he's not getting a fair trial. And innocent or not, everyone deserves a fair trial. All right, it has taken more than 7 years for prosecutors to bring evidence regarding the murders of Abby Williams, 13, and Libby German, 14, before a jury. So this is a small town in Delphi. For 8 days, 7 women and 5 men have sat in the jury box of Carroll County courtroom and listened to the accounts of family members, witnesses, experts, police officers in the state's pursuit of Richard Allen, 52. They've been told that for 5.5 years, after bursts of tips and slight initial progress, the investigation into the murders went cold, save for video captured on Libby's cell phone of Bridge Guy, the suspected killer. Yeah, it's crazy. So Libby was filming. The last time they were spotted was on the bridge, and Libby had her cell phone and she was recording. I don't know if it looked like she was incognito recording, but she was recording, and it seems like she was trying to capture, there was a guy behind them. And so unfortunately, we can't really see the guy. It's kind of blurry, maybe pixelated. But you do hear the guy's voice on the video. So on Libby's cell phone, the Bridge Guy, the suspected killer, stalking the girls on Monon High Bridge and then ordering them, guys, down the hill towards the south bank of Deer Creek following the next day, February 14, 2017, with the discovery of the bodies and a single unfired bullet buried nose first into the ground at the crime scene, at least 20 yards up the opposite creek bank on the private property. Dr. Rowland, a pathologist who conducted the autopsy, said both girls died of deep lacerations to the neck, but there are no signs of SA injury. I thought there were signs on one of the girls of SA. Though a pair of sketches were generated as a result of witness description of men, one middle-aged, the other significantly younger, who were spotted on the natural trail leading up the bridge that day, investigators remain stymied in their search for the alleged killer. The sketches were ruled out by the trial by Special Judge Fran Gohl, who agreed with the prosecutor, Nicholas McLeland, that since the renditions did not resemble Allen, inclusion in the evidence could only serve to confuse the jurors, which is the point of the defense's team's attempt to introduce them as evidence. Wait, what? That doesn't make any sense. Wouldn't you want to be like, hey, there are people that said this is what the suspect looked like. And then if it didn't look like Richard Allen, well, duh. Why can't the defense use them? Okay. A reference to the sketches by a woman on the witness stand last week, however, may open the door to reconsider the judge's ruling. I mean, I feel like that could be huge for the defense. The younger one's picture had been called Justin Timberlake. Oh, I haven't seen that. Some essay is not obvious. I thought that it was obvious on one of the victims. After years of seemingly cold investigation, despite Indiana State Police assurances the case was still active, on September 21, 2022, 2 years ago, Kathy Shank, a volunteer who was tasked with scanning bankers' boxes full of files in a central investigative data box, Korangal, thank you so much for the 25. The state's release information in this case has been very hard to understand. Yeah. It's not transparent with the public. A lot of it is sealed, and it's really hard for the public to even get any information about this. At some point, I kind of just gave up. And then now that the trial is happening, I mean, my interest has peaked again. Kathy Shank, a volunteer who was tasked with scanning bankers' boxes full of files in a central investigative database, pulled open the drawer of desk in a soon-to-be abandoned office and discovered a file that contained an initial tip sheet from February of 2017, just a couple days after the murders, in which a man listed as Rick Allen Whiteman called in to self-report that he was on the bridge that day if his name should come up or investigators wanted to ask him questions. On the tip sheet, someone had written the word cleared. Shank testified that she read the report and immediately identified a clerical error that misinterpreted Allen's home address of Whiteman Drive as his last name. The retired government employee took the file to Chief Deputy Tony Liggett of the Carroll County Sheriff's Department, who was running for sheriff for the upcoming election less than 2 months away, and he began an investigation to Allen. So is this sentence? I don't know, the sentence sounds like, maybe the sheriff was like gung-ho on this information because his election was coming up again? Maybe. First confirming that he drove a black 2016 Ford Focus. A security camera captured the image of a car resembling Allen's vehicle parked at a business along County Road 300 North, which runs along the border of a private property where the bodies were found. So when this went out in the news, Richard Allen, who is the defendant on this, Richard Allen said that, hey, I was there that day. And someone on the police team was like, okay, well, they probably talked to him and they marked him as cleared. However, the employee that was going through these old files was looking through them and was like, oh, wait, actually, there's a clerical error here. His last name is not Whiteman. Whiteman is the name of the road that he lives on or something like that. Sarah Carball told jurors she saw a bridge guy walking along the road covered with mud as if he had fallen to the creek or down the hill approximately 90 minutes after investigators say the girls were killed. Hey, Marco, how are you doing today? How's it going? The fact one was, nude. Carball did not say Allen resembled bridge guy, and even though the defendant is 5'4" and approximately 145 pounds, neither the prosecution nor the defense asked the witness to describe the size of the man that she saw. Huh? Why not? Indiana Department of Natural Resources Officer Dan Doolin received a original Rick Allen Whiteman tip to follow up on February 16, 2017, 2 days after the bodies were discovered and more than 5 years before the misfiled original report would be discovered. Doolin testified that he interviewed Allen in the parking lot of a grocery store after unsuccessful attempts to meet him at his home or Delphi Police Headquarters. Apparently he was working, Richard Allen was working at CVS Pharmacy, I think. The conservation officer said Allen told him he was on the bridge trail between 1 and 3 p.m. on February 13, but later revised that timeline to 1:30 to 3:30. Doolin said he did not find any reason to believe Allen's story that he had parked his car near County Road 300 North, that he spotted 3 young women walking on the trail, that he was focused on his cell phone and reading a stock ticker during his walk to the bridge, and upon his arrival, watched fish in the water 60 feet below. Allen showed Doolin the phone he was carrying, and the officer wrote down its model and other identifying information. I hadn't been able to dive into this one too deeply. Those poor girls, I hate this for their loved ones. Yeah, it's so sad. I mean, 2017, it's like 7 years ago. Upon a call from the investigators in the fall of 2022, Doolin said that he plugged Allen's name into the DNR database and discovered that upon renewal of his fishing license 6 weeks after the killing, Allen changed the height of his permit from 5'4" to 5'6", which the officer told jurors he found odd. Okay, so maybe changing it that way. If anyone says, "Oh, this guy was 5'4", really short man found around Libby and oh gosh, Libby and Abby. Okay, I don't know why I was thinking Abby, but I was like, wait, maybe that's wrong. I didn't want to get the names wrong. So maybe, he was just like wanting to change his information on the driver's license, so they wouldn't be, if they were looking for a 5'4" man and they put up the license database, it'd be like, oh, this guy who's 5'6", it doesn't match. I don't know, maybe? I mean, it's only a difference of two inches. On October 13, 2022, Liggett and former Delphi police chief Steve Mullen, who had retired to become a chief investigator for the Carroll County prosecutor, called Allen in to DPD headquarters for an interview, advised him of his Miranda rights, remained silent, and have an attorney present during questioning, showed him the photograph of Bridge Guy, and told Allen he was the suspect in the girl's murder. Mr. Owens just talking about how, he tried to urge Sarah Boone to take the plea deal and just talk about how she was in shock and all that. Allen reportedly changed the timeline of his walk along the High Bridge Trail that day to noon to 1:30 and left the interview after denying he was the killer. Hours later, Indiana State Troopers conducted a search warrant on Allen's Whiteman's drive home, discovering several large knives, more than 24 cell phones, pagers, a .40 caliber 6-hour semi-automatic handgun, and an unspent bullet. Apparently, the .40 caliber 6-hour matches the unspent bullet that matched the one that was found at the crime scene. This case has so many twists. Missing during the search was a cell phone Allen showed DNR Officer Doolin during his initial interview in 2016-17. Wait, so what was his explanation for having so many cell phones? Why does he have 24 cell phones? As Allen sat in detective's car in the driveway during the search, ISP Sergeant Jerry Holman, since promoted to lieutenant, told Allen that if investigators damaged his home during the search, there would be forms available to seek state compensation. Holman told jurors that Allen said it doesn't matter in response to his statement. Holman also claimed that Allen told him it's over twice. Holman testified he didn't know what Allen's comment meant until he conducted a further interview 2 weeks later. So are there body cam footages? Is what I want to know. And then also, what other footages do we have? Was he a cell phone merchant? I understand when he was working at CVS. Local guy working at CVS. Hey, CK, how are you doing today? Hello. Thanks for jumping on in. A former Indiana State Police forensic firearms examiner, Melissa Oper, told jurors that she identified 3 distinct scratches on the base of the .40 caliber Winchester Smith & Wesson unfired bullet that was found at the crime scene. After 6 unsuccessful attempts to replicate, guys, I don't know, this sounds pretty important right here. 6 times she tried to replicate those scratches on the test bullets dry cycled through Allen's gun at the crime lab. She resorted to firing 4 bullets from the gun into a tank of water, and 2 of those rounds, though potentially altered by the heat and pressure of the firing process, did display ejection marks similar to the unfired cartridge discovered near the body. So she tried 6 times to replicate the same scratches on the test bullets and didn't work. So I guess she resorted to trying it a different way. And then at that point, that's when the marks were similar. Police theorized that Allen, as Bridge Guy, may have cycled 1 round of the chamber into his handgun when first encountering Libby and Abby at the south end of the Monon High Bridge, as recorded on Libby's cell phone video, and then later ejected that bullet at the crime scene, perhaps to scare his victims. Based on the bullet evidence and witness accounts, investigators called Allen in for one last interview at State Police Lafayette Post on October 26, 2022. As Holman told jurors, it was a standard procedure to lie to a suspect during interrogation, Sarah Boone, even though he told Allen that it's not ethical. Holman said Allen denied more than 20 times that he had killed Abby and Libby, even after the detective admitted that he told Allen falsely that witnesses had identified him on the bridge and that experts had determined his voice matched that of Bridge Guy on Libby's phone. Do you guys have a link for the bridge footage on Libby's phone? Or do we only see screenshots of it? Have we seen the video? Have you seen the bridge? It looks so scary. I'd never cross it. All bridges to me look pretty scary. Yeah, 6 hours are so common as fuck. Even the cops use them. Yeah, I mean, how many cases have we covered where 6 hour gets brought up in gun-related stuff? Bridge Guy is heard saying, "Guys, down the hill." As Libby responds, "There's no path there." Or, "See, the trail ends here." Or, "We got to go down here." I heard forensic firearm expert on the stand for 9 hours. I heard. Oh my gosh. I would have been like, that would have been really hard for me to pay attention. No, man, you have to see the bridge. It's insane. It's called Monon High Bridge. Okay. So for the rest of you guys, so you guys can see. Monon High Bridge. Give me a second. You have a fascination for bridges? Wait, that's not it. Hold on. Oh, Monon High Bridge. Monon High Bridge. This one, right? That bridge right there? This right here. I don't think that's it. Yeah, this one right here. It's just like a bridge. I don't know. I would be scared if my foot went through that or something. Is there more than one video? I don't know. Is there more than one video? I've only heard of that one video. I think his interrogation video is up, right? Get a side view. Mon and High Bridge. Let's see. Oh, how about this one? This is on Reddit. Let's see. Oh, this right here? Oh my goodness. Oh, no. Is this it? Oh no. What is this? What is this bridge for? Was it for trains? Oh my God. Wait, is this the bridge? This looks so... I didn't know it was this high up. Holy shit. Yeah, that's the bridge. I would never cross that shit. Holy crap. Who is this content creator? Mobile Instinct? Mobile Instinct went there. Holy crap. That's... no. That bridge looks CGI. Oh gosh. Looks like something out of Indiana Jones movie. Yeah, that's a no from me. Holy crap. You've seen way more dangerous bridges? I would never... Oh my gosh. No, that looks so scary. Oh, is this the bridge guy video?
And no,
I think that's the bridge guy video.
So the story of Abby and Libby has been told many, many times and, exhaustingly done. But not that that's a bad thing. I mean, the more exposure, the better. You never know who is going to hear the next podcast or see the next video. And
oh, so eerie.
Tuesday, the jury saw the entire video of the suspected killer being shot in girls.
Investigators talk. This fuzzy moment of video circulated for years as investigators search for
It's got a gate stopping people now. I don't know. Is that gate high enough for it to stop people though? Can people just hop over it?
a suspect. A man known as Alan went for a walk. Our reporter in the court
Video recorded 2:13 p.m. Camera pointing down at a bridge. Libby's voice. There's no path.
room, Bob Siegel, said he could hear a girl's voice saying there's no path at one point. He learned that voice is Libby's. An investigator said his examination detected a male voice saying down the hill. A state police forensic examiner explained how he enhanced the video, adjusting color, size, angle, and more to create a usable image for investigators.
Woo. Yeah, I don't know. That bridge looks way too scary. I'm too scared for that. When I was a teenager, I loved doing adventurous shit, haunted houses and that, but that bridge I would be like, oh. All right, the audio played twice for jurors is open for interpretation, which was disregarded by the judge. The bridge guy is heard saying, "This be a gun." The detective said that while he reminded Allen the start of October 26, 2022 interview about his Miranda rights given 2 weeks before, that admonition was not captured on video because we have a lot of technical difficulties throughout the investigation. Holman also admitted to jurors that he had misrepresented represented Oberg's firearms matching findings to other investigators. He did not record Allen's conversation in his car. Oh, he didn't? See, that's what I was wondering. I was like, do we have the body cam for this? He did not record Allen's conversation in the car the day of the search warrant, even though he received interrogation and body language training in interviewing subjects. I'm not an expert at it. Did not view crucial security video of the black car near the murder scene. Didn't know the names of specific witnesses and believed at the one time that more than one suspect was involved in the slaying. I just want to read more about the timeline. Okay, let's go to the timeline. I just want to get a little bit about just like the beginning stuff. Let's talk about the trial timeline. They found his jacket. Whose jacket was it? Richard Allen's jacket? Yeah, there's a lot of video, audio they won't show. Gotcha. All right, y'all. So day 1, a jury of 8 women, 4 men heard opening statements in Richard Allen's trial. Carroll County. Why did I say it like that? Oh no, can I not? Sorry, I was trying to zoom in more for you guys. Is this good? Carroll County Prosecutor Nicholas McLeland delivered the opening statements for the state in about 15 minutes? Opening statements? Wow, that's pretty short. McLeland told the jury this case is about 3 things: BG, bridge guy, a bullet, and a brutal murder of 2 girls. The prosecutor said that Allen used a gun to force the girls down the hill before killing them. His intent was to have his way with them, but got interrupted, McLeland said, and that Allen left behind a clue, a bullet. McLeland told the jury they would hear Allen placing himself on the bridge unsolicited, unprovoked admission to the crime. Unsolicited unprovoked admission to the crime. You'll hear Richard Allen in his own words telling his wife, his mom, and others that he did it, how he did it, and why he did it. But was that after he was apparently when they took him in, he was in solitary confinement for like a year plus, right? And like mentally he was deteriorating, and that's when he decided to admit that he did it. I mean, being in solitary confinement by yourself, and that's what solitary confinement is, for over a year, I don't know. I feel like that could really mentally fuck you up. Hey, 41 Vegas, how are you doing today? Just saying hi, love this channel. Thank you so much, Vegas. I appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Ari admits to wearing clothes similar to the bridge guy, but everyone in the town had clothes like that. Ari said that he had a red car before the black one. Ari is like, Richard Allen, what is going on in this world that we are living in? Crazy shit sometimes. Crazy shit. After 4 months in solitary confinement, I heard it was like over a year in solitary confinement. Maybe I heard incorrectly. In Allen's defense attorney's hour-long opening statement. Crazy. So defense attorney's opening statement was an hour long. The state was 15 minutes. Okay. Andrew Baldwin said Allen confessed to a crime that he did not commit after suffering trauma from the investigation and imprisonment. Richard Allen is an innocent man, Baldwin said, and the evidence will prove it. Baldwin said the girls were not shot, but instead insisted their throats were, where's that? Richard Allen confessed to shooting these girls in the back, but they weren't shot, Baldwin said. Richard Allen confessed to a crime he did not commit. Oh, so when he confessed, it wasn't even the same way of murder. It wasn't even the same method of murder that happened to the girls. Richard Allen said he killed his family and his grandchildren. Baldwin said he doesn't have grandchildren. His family wasn't killed. Richard Allen allegedly confessed to them and burying them in a shallow grave, which the defense also alleges never happened. Baldwin said there was hair found. Oh, this is what we heard. There was hair found in Abby's hand that did not belong to Richard Allen. Apparently, this hair was hair that belonged to a woman, but they don't know who, right? They said yesterday in court, 13 months in solitary confinement. Okay, 13 months. Yeah, because I remember it was like over a year from what Andrew Burkhart said. Day 2. Former Delphi police chief Steve Mullen testified about the search for Abby and Libby when they were first reported missing. Mullen said the initial belief was that the girls may have fallen from the bridge and were injured. Again, this is what the bridge... Oh, did I already take it down? Oh, I had a picture of the bridge. Yeah, rewind it a little bit. We saw a picture of the bridge. It was very scary. I would be crossing that bridge. It looks very scary. All right, so they believe that the girls may have fallen from the bridge and were uninjured. February 14, 2017, authorities received a call at 12:15 p.m. from Pat Brown, who said he found 2 bodies south of Morning Heights Cemetery. The jury saw a drone video taken from about adult height showing a human's view as they walked from Freedom Bridge to the far end of Monon High Bridge. The video was taken February 13, 2024. Delphi resident Jake Johns, who participated in the search, testified about finding a tie-dye shirt in the creek and alerting a fireman. John's coworker called Pat Brown, who he knew lived on the north side of the creek, and asked him to walk down from the cemetery to investigate, leading to the discovery of the girls' bodies. Oh, that's how they found them. Okay. Delphi resident Pat Brown, who found the girls' bodies, said at first approach he thought the bodies were mannequins. Oh, that's so scary. 14 months confinement. Okay. All right, day 3. Carroll County Deputy Darren Giancola, I think, who was one of the first law enforcement officers on the scene, testified about the scene where the girls' bodies were found. Giancola said he did not see their bodies as he walked south from the cemetery to the creek, but did see a multicolored shirt and one Nike shoe in the creek when he was called to the scene. Giancola said Libby's body was unclothed while Abby was clothed. Giancola recalled seeing a significant amount of blood on their bodies and on the ground. Abby's clothes and shoes appeared to be damp, presumably from crossing the creek. It was determined that Abby's body was wearing Libby's jeans and sweatshirt, while Abby's clothing and Libby's t-shirt were found in the creek inside out. There's also something really big that the defense wanted to introduce in, and it was essentially saying that, was the defense trying to say that Libby and Abby could have been murdered in like a ritual killing because of the way their bodies was placed, and it seemed unnatural, and how there was like sticks covering them, but like the way that the sticks were covering them didn't seem like someone was trying to hide the body, right? It seems like it was like some sort of like symbolism thing. I think that's what the defense wanted to introduce, but the judge didn't allow that. However, Maybe as the trial progresses, maybe something will happen and then the judge will allow that to be introduced. But I think that was like a huge major thing for the defense, that this type of killing seems like it was some sort of like a, I don't know, some sort of weird ritual. What? Now people are suspicious of Libby's sister, which is ridiculous. Oh, because of the hair? Well, wouldn't they be able to match the hair to the sister if it was the sister? I remember when they found the bodies, it was insane. Wow. He did tell the warden that he cut them with a box knife, threw it in a CVS dumpster. They matched the hair to Kelsey German. Oh, the sister. Okay. Gotcha. But now they think it's like the sister. I mean, does she have an alibi? She probably does. I don't know. Did they look into that? Grubb says it was never a ritual killing. Yeah, they were trying to say it was ritualistic. Gotcha. Yeah, and the judge did not allow that. All right. Sergeant Jason Page, a crime scene investigator with Indiana State Police, took the jury through 44 images. Yikes. Tree branches were found on the girls' bodies. A large branch appeared over Libby's upper body. During a heated cross-exam between defense attorney Brad Rossi and Jason Page, Rossi asked several questions regarding the unspent bullet. Rossi asked why there weren't more pictures taken of the bullet on the ground and why there were no pictures of the bullet while it was being removed from the ground and after it was removed from the scene. Attorneys raised several questions about the sticks and branches found on and around the girls' bodies during the Monday's session. Photos of Libby's body, the sticks, the blood found in the area were shown in court. Defense questioned investigators on whether they thought someone may have placed the sticks there. Page said, "It's very reasonable to believe it was placed there by a human act." ISP CSI Dwayne Datzman testified to being the CSI who discovered the bullet found between the girls' bodies. Defense attorney Andrew Baldwin tried to emphasize how many defense attorneys does Richard Allen have? 2? Was there 2 that was assigned to him? Apparently there were some issues with the defense attorneys and the judge tried to have them thrown out. And then I think the Supreme Court decided that that was something that the judge couldn't do at that point. And so the defense attorneys were brought back to represent Richard Allen. Because I remember there was like some weird stuff that I heard about that too. Like someone went to the office in the defense team and like leaked some photos or something like that. It was crazy. Is it a DP case? I don't know. Is it a DP case? Kelsey German's interviews, are so heartbreaking. It was symbolic to him. Dragged a bit by feet, hence why blood was dripping upwards instead of downwards. It could be a budding serial killer. It could be a budding serial killer, and then it was symbolic to him. Gotcha, Dominique. Defense attorney Andrew Baldwin tried to emphasize the defense's interest in the bullet at the crime scene, arguing that they believe more photos should be taken of the bullet found at the scene. The sticks, the branches laid on top of the girls were not collected at the time, even though it had some blood on them. They were deemed to not be of evidentiary value, so they were left. On March 10, 2017, Datzman was asked to go get them. He relied on memory and the photos to make sure he grabbed the correct limb, branches, and twigs. Oh boy. Lawyer Lee also felt there were 2 people there. Oh, is Lawyer Lee also attending the trial in person? There's that recording the voice of the man who met them on the bridge. ISP CSI Brian O'Leahy, the lead CSI at the crime scene, testified about the documentation and the collection of evidence. Day 4. CSI Brian O'Leahy, the lead CSI at the crime scene, continued his testimony detailing evidence collected at the scene and the items collected at the autopsy. Assay kits were done on both girls at autopsy. On cross-examination, O'Leahy said no specific photos were taken of the ground after the .40 caliber round was removed. He said there were no photos taken of the round itself after it was removed. Defense attorney Bradley Rossi represented the swabs to O'Leahy and asked if any of his information on them was linked to Allen. O'Leahy said no. Lieutenant Brian Bunner, a digital forensic expert, testified about his role in the examination information captured from Libby's phone. Lieutenant Bunner said the timeline report showed a video. It was a video taken at 2:13 on February 13, 2017. Quick question. When did you guys first hear about the Delphi murders? I think I was watching a true crime video. I think it was either that chapter or Coffee House Crime, maybe? It was one of those creepy footages that was caught before, victims were found or something like that. I think that's where I first learned about this case. Oh, really? She's at the trial? Oh, maybe a month ago, Michael? Okay. So it's captured on 2:13 p.m., February 13, 2017, the day Abby and Libby were last seen alive. You heard it in the news. It was years ago. The video, which lasted 35 to 40 seconds, was shown once on a large television monitor in the courtroom. The video shows Libby filming herself and Abby on the Delphi High Bridge. At one point, the camera points up and you can see that there is no one behind Abby. However, in a later shot, it shows a man walking behind her. That man has been called the Bridge Man. A girl's voice was heard in the video, and when Libby's mother heard the voice, presumed to be her daughter, she started to cry and become very emotional. The young lady was talking as she was walking at the end of the bridge. Reporters in court heard the voices say, "There's no path. The trail ends here. So we have to go down here?" ? Several reporters said the tone of the comments sounded like a question. Shortly after the girl's voice stopped, reporters in court say they heard a voice believed to be a man, but it was unclear what was said. The video from the bridge was not enhanced, and it was only played once for the jury to watch and hear. Fuck, man, if I was a jury, I'd be like, can you play it over and over and over again? I would want to hear it over and over again. You saw a YouTube scary, unsolved compilation years ago. No, I don't think Coffee House was around when this was already circulating. Maybe he covered after the fact. It was either Coffee House, that chapter, or I guess like one of the true crime channels I used to watch back in the day. I heard about it maybe a year before Richard Allen was arrested, probably from where you know. Heard about it the day they went missing. I live really close to Delphi. This Kelsey, been following it for years. This Maureen. I don't think I got into the Delphi case because the content was looking to be glorified, in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. ? It's a pretty well known in the true crime sector. They'll probably be able to play it in the deliberation room as much as they want. Yeah, hopefully. There were several screenshots displayed of the man in the video behind Abby. They were shown to the jury. Do you think this could look like a man that's 5'4"? It's hard to really tell. I don't know. Maybe? Could be? Possibly? Jeremy Chapman, an AV technician for ISP who was responsible for enhancing the cell phone audio and video, took the stand. Judge Gohl allowed the enhanced version of the video to be played in the court Tuesday afternoon. It was about 45 seconds long. They played the video in its entirety a second time. Oh, okay, they did. In the video, the girls say, "See, this is the path. There is no path. We have to go down here." Shortly after, a man's voice says, "Guys, down the hill." Chapman said he pulled 3 frames of the still images of Bridge Guy. He cleaned those up by adjusting the contrast and the brightness of the images. He also used de-blurring and filters to enhance the photos. Riley Voorhees testified she was walking on the trail with her sisters and a friend and taking photos near the Monon High Bridge on February 13, 2017. So what do you think Bridge Guy said to the girls to entice them to go down the path? What will be down there? For those of you guys who live near Delphi, who knows about this bridge, what's down there? Is it just like, a path that takes you to the creek or a path that takes you elsewhere? Like, where would you be going with this path? His legs do look short. Yeah. Chapman said he pulled 3 frames. Oh, I already read this. Okay, so Rayleigh Voorhees testified that she was walking the trail with her sisters and friends. Voorhees testified, showed the jury her path to the bridge on the map. That trail was across from Freedom Bridge and across from the Monon High Bridge. While walking along the trail to go home, she said she didn't see anyone the path past Freedom Bridge. However, she said she did see a man who did not wave back at her and did not seem to be a happy person near the Freedom Bridge. The state showed a photo of the bridge guy, and Voorhees says, that's the man I waved at on the trail. 2 other witnesses testified to being on the trail that day and seeing Bridge Guy. That was day 4. Is Delphi that bad? It looks like a pretty trail. Honestly, I don't know. This is not like an area where murders happen. Like, never. This is the only murder I've ever heard of. Yeah, I hear this is like a really small town. Small town, things like this don't happen. Definitely shocked the community. All right, day 5. Sarah Carball testified she was walking her dog on Monon High Bridge Trail on February 13, 2017. Around 4 p.m. that day, she saw a man covered in blood, walking alongside the road. Carball said, I looked at him, but he did not make eye contact with me. I'm going to be labeling him Bridge Guy because that's who I know him by. Carball said she recognized the man showed in the photo on the local news as the man she had seen on the road. She eventually talked with local police investigators 3 weeks later. Why 3 weeks later? She said she had been traumatized by the murders. My inaction was me overthinking and panicking. I was having a moment. Carball saw a police officer at a roadblock in Delphi asking for tips regarding the case. She said that was a sign from God to report what she saw that day. Interesting. During cross-examination, the defense questioned Carball's account, claiming she changed her story during police interviews more than once. Well, that's not good. Forensic pathologist Dr. Roland Kaur, who performed the autopsy, testified. All right, guys, I think we're going to get some autopsy stuff. I'll try to censor the best I can. The autopsy revealed Abby had a 5 to 6 centimeter long wound, approximately 2 inches long, on the left side of her neck. However, Dr. Koh said it was not a deep cut, only an inch deep, in the doctor's words. He stated there was some skin damage to the right side, which he believes suggests the cut was made from right to left. Dr. Kaur observed livor mortis on Abby's body, which he described as the purplish areas where the blood settles after a body has been in the same position for a prolonged period of time. Again, livor mortis. I thought it was like livor, like Livor. That was mentioned in George Torres's autopsy as well. They said that there was livor mortis where it seems like, the blood settled on one side of his body. So possibly showing that he was on one side for a long period of time and maybe like on a different side on a different period of time. But I think in his case, it was like him being on his side. That's where the blood was settling. She says they found livor mortis on her upper back and the back of Abby's legs. Kaur said livor mortis sets in after a person has been dead for at least 8 hours. Dr. Kaur said Libby had 4 wounds on her neck and possibly a 5th. 2 of those wounds are overlapped. Kaur observed there was like an X-ray pattern in a large wound of Libby's neck. Dr. Kaur says it's likely that there were 2 passes made that resulted in that wound. He was unsure what he called the middle wound. He believed it would have been a second pass with a weapon, but wasn't certain. He also noted a few small abrasions below Libby's neck. He observed there were changes in the patterns of the cut and said if a person was drawing away as if they were being cut, it would cause some changes. There were 5 marks on the edge of the wound on the right side of Libby's neck. Those marks were 1 millimeter wide with a space between them. Dr. Kaur initially surmised that a serrated knife was used to make the cuts, but he said he had thought about the cut marks in the past few months. He now believes a box cutter was used as the weapon. Kaur said he did not create a supplemental report because he felt it would be speculative, but not definitive. Dr. Kaur testified about blood loss and how long it takes for someone to die from such injuries. Dr. Kaur said Libby's blood loss was more rapid than Abby's and estimated she would have gone to shock more quickly. He estimated Libby would have died in 5 to 10 minutes, but guessed that it likely would have been closer to 5 minutes based on the severity of her injuries. Dr. Kaur also noted that Libby had swelling in her brain due to less oxygen. Neither girls had signs of sexual trauma or defensive wounds. Oh, okay, gotcha. But one of the girls was found naked, though. For Libby, the doctor suggests she was dragged from another location based on the debris found on her legs. He also said the serrated area of the wound could be from the handle of the instrument or weapon. ISB Sergeant Chris Cecil testified about re-examining Libby's iPhone. Data revealed Abby and Libby each accessed social media accounts on the phone on February 13, 2017. Data from the Apple Health app, said the last time the phone logged movement was 2:32:39 seconds p.m. on February 13, 2017. Cecil testified from 2019 to 2024, there continued to be new updates of software and programs on the phone, so they attempted to pull more data from it. The phone was reprocessed. Cecil said that when another digital forensic expert plugged the phone in to charge, it added a small amount of data, but did not change any information. Cecil said the state that when the examiner shut the phone down on February 15, 2027? 2027. It would have reset the power on-off log, which prompted the defense to ask, we will never know exactly when the phone powered off. Cecil agreed. Cecil examined 23 devices taken from the home of Richard Allen on November 8, 2022. He said the data recovered showed no communications between those devices and Williams or German Cecil added there were no connections to Allen having any connection to the girls' deaths. Cecil testified that he did, however, find an internet search history regarding Abby and Libby in the news articles on one of Allen's devices. So what is the evidence that they have tying Richard Allen to the crime scene? So owning the 6-hour, the gun, the confession, I guess. But the confession was after he'd already been in solitary confinement for a bit. And I guess the confession didn't even match with how the girls were murdered. What else do they have on Richard Allen? Dominique says, I'm worried they have the wrong person. What else was there? What else am I forgetting? I mean, they have the videos, which could look like Richard Allen. But what other evidence do they have tying him to the scene? Like DNA, anything like that? Prosecuting attorney McLeland pointed out that Allen's cell phone from 2017 was not among the 23 devices taken. Investigators say they have no idea where the device might be. All right, that was day 5. Rhiannon sounds sketchy. No DNA, nothing. I don't know. It might sound like it might be tough for them to prosecute him. Day 6. Kathy Shank, a retired CPS worker and volunteer clerk who organized and evaluated approximately 14,000 tips given to law enforcement after the murders, took the stand to talk about her work on the case. Jesus, 14,000 tips. Shank began working the case in March 2017. The tips filled 5 filing cabinets. In 2020, the paperwork was digitized in a process that took 2 years. When investigators moved buildings in 2022, Shank said she found a box and drawer with a lead sheet from February 16, 2017, labeled Richard Allen Whiteman. The tip indicated that Allen had been on the trail on February 13th. Shank said the file had the word clear written on it and said, I don't know how that tip ended up in that box. The name on the file was changed from Richard Allen Whiteman to Richard Allen. On September 21st, 2022, Whiteman is the name of the street on which Allen lived. The file revealed that Allen self-reported that he was on the trail the last day the girls were seen. Shank said that was the only tip provided. Daniel Doolin, a former lieutenant with the Indiana State Police, testified to his work on the case following up on the leads. Doolin called Allen on February 18, 2017, after picking up the lead sheet. He asked to meet at Allen's house, but Allen preferred to meet at a grocery store parking lot. Doolin testified that Allen told him he had been on Monon High Bridge Trail on February 13, 2017, from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. So that would have been during the times of the murders. A change from his original statement to the police, which was that he was there from 1 to 3. Doolin described the interaction as brief, and the interview was not recorded. When was this again? This was in 2022. I mean, Jesus, you're interviewing him like 5 years later. I wouldn't be surprised if his original story was, if his original story changed, I guess. Doolin said in September 2022, former Delphi Police Chief Steve Mullen told him that Allen's height on his fishing license changed in April 2017 from 5'4" to 5'6". The listed weight on his license dropped by 15 pounds. I don't know. I wish record everything. Please record everything. While canvassing the crime scene, Doolin said that he found branches with blood on them that were piled to a 5-foot area. This was after after the area had been released by authorities. He called the investigation center and asked them to return to the scene to collect the sticks. I don't know why they didn't collect the sticks to begin with. Former Delphi Police Chief Steve Mullen testified to his October 2022 interview with Allen. The interview is on YouTube, right? I feel like I've seen screenshots of his interview before. Are the interviews on YouTube? Mullen said that Allen believed he was driving his Ford Focus when he went on the bridge in 2017. He still owned the car in 2022. Allen said he wore blue jeans, blue or black Carhartt jacket, a skull cap, and military-style boots or sneakers. Allen reported seeing 3 women, 1 older, 2 younger, on the trail that day. When Mullen asked Allen if he was the bridge guy, Allen responded, if the picture was the one that was taken on the girl's camera, there's no way it could be me. Carroll County Sheriff Tony Leggett testified he reviewed the tip about Allen that Shank found in September 2022. According Corgi, man, you're a relentless reader. I would have quit after 2.5 pages. It's because when I was younger, okay, reading was so fucking hard and I wanted to show myself. Like, I'll show you I can read. I struggled with reading when I was young. It was so fucking hard. He said it stuck out. I wasn't aware anyone had seen 3 girls on the trail that day. We believe it was Bridge Guy, Leggett said. The jury saw the video again, this time enhanced to stabilize the man and to listen what was being said. Guys, down the hill. The victim's family could be heard crying in the courtroom while the video played. Where Owen's at, asking for a mistrial. Leggett took photos of Alan's Ford Focus at the CVS drugstore where he worked and noted that it was parked back into the spot. Leggett testified to items found at Alan's house in September 2022 when officers served a search warrant, which included a .40 caliber handgun, ammunition, single .40 caliber bullet in a keepsafe box, and a blue Carhartt jacket and a gun registered to Alan. Damn, but by the time they searched his house, it was like 5 years later. 5 years later. You're dyslexic. I cannot read out loud to save my life. Practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. We read a lot of court transcripts, so I think that really helped a lot. But, you know, when I start getting hungry, you know, because that's when I start tripping up all of my words. The what now? Is Sarah in the same place where Eileen Wuornos was? I don't know. I don't know who Eileen Wuornos is. Who is Eileen? A jury would have to sort this out. Yeah, I don't envy the jury's job. ISP Detective David Vito assisted in the search of Alan's home on October 13, 2022, and showed pictures to the jury that included a Ford Focus parked outside. During the search, nearly 30 knives, at least 4 box cutters found inside the home were confiscated, along with 12 phones, 2 pagers, and 2 SD cards. Yeah, this is like 5 years later. All the items were tested, but nothing came back to link the items to the crime scene. ISP Lieutenant Jerry Holman testified to his supervision of the search. He sat in the car with Alan, and when he asked Alan if he wanted to fill out any forms for items taken, Alan said to him, "It doesn't matter. It's over." Again, we don't have any recording of this. Holman said that Alan repeated himself twice. Eileen Wuornos killed 7 men in their 90s? Eileen? Serial killer? I've never heard of her before. What was her motive? His daughter looks so much like Libby. He took a photo of his daughter sitting down on the bridge a few years later. Weird. Maybe it's a really famous bridge and it's very scenic. Ooh. To be Ford Focus is a probable cause. All right, day 7. Oh no, are we done? Oh no, we're not done yet. Yay, okay, day 7. Oh, this is the long day. Why is this so short? So I will say though, sometimes when we cover court cases and I'll go back and read the Court TV's summarized version, I'm like, yo, y'all missed so much. There's so much in here that you guys could have included. Melissa Oberg, a forensic firearms examiner, explained and demonstrated to jurors how a semi-automatic pistol cycles cartridges to the gun. Jurors watched 2 videos showing how 6Rs are manufactured. On cross-examination, Brad Rossi questions the witness on qualifications, lack of firearm-specific experience, and possible ID errors. The witness admits to omission and uncertainty about whether current gun marks match those from 2017, though similarities are possible. Rossi questions the witness's testing methods and focuses on a spent round over an unfired one, highlighting the witness's lack of proficiency with unfired rounds. The witness confirms that the conclusions are based on the spent round, noting no distinctive marks or dirt, and discusses the limitations of determining the timing of cycling marks on evidence. Apparently, she testified for the entire day. Hope the jurors had snacks, little snackies. Day 8. Lieutenant Jerry Holman, the lead investigator, testified about the interrogation of Richard Allen before his arrest. Holman said that before he interviewed Allen, he believed without a doubt the bullet found in the crime scene near the Delphi High Bridge belonged to Allen. Why? Part of the interrogation, which took place October 26, 2022, was not recorded due to technical issues. Come on now, you couldn't have just recorded the voice? Something? Okay. Was not recorded due to technical issues, testified Holman. Man, I feel like it should be mandatory to have these things recorded. During the interview, Holman said Allen claimed no one had ever borrowed any of his clothes, car, or caliber or .40 caliber handgun. Allen never explained how a round found at the scene, one believed to have cycled through Allen's gun, could have gotten there. Allen told police he never carried his gun unless he was fishing or mushroom hunting. He also said he did not have it with him while walking on the trails on February 13, 2017. Holman testified Allen said, "There's no way it's my bullet or that it came from my gun." When Allen was asked how he usually carried a gun, he responded he used a side holster. Allen told Holman he usually carried his pistol with one round in his chamber. Holman testified Allen denied his involvement 20 to 50 times. Holman testified Allen told him it's already over. As police were searching his home while executing a search warrant, Holman asked Allen why he said that, to which Allen replied, "The damage was done. You already viewed my neighbors, my coworkers. They all think I am guilty." I mean, honestly, this statement can go both ways. It could be like, okay, he's saying it's already over because he's fucking guilty and he's like, fuck, I'm done. Or he could just be saying it because, well, y'all already think I'm guilty. Everyone already thinks I'm guilty. I'm fucked. Right? So I think the statement can go both ways. Her girlfriend turned on her and she never recovered from her. Wait, who? Oh, are we talking about the other person? There was a movie called Monster. Charlize Theron played her in a movie. Wait, why does it sound so familiar? Monster. She was sentenced to death and executed in 2022. Oh, 2002. Hey, Mayor, how are you doing today? We were covering Sarah Boone, and then we started talking about the Delphi case, and I was like, you know what? I want to read this with y'all. So if you guys want to watch the Sarah Boone stuff, just forward to the beginning of the stream, and it's all the Sarah Boone stuff, the interrogation. And I guess I could update the title and say, like, oh, plus Delphi or something. No, I've never heard of Eileen Warren. No, she killed them for money because she said they were going to R her. No, I don't think I've heard of her before. American serial killer while engaging in street prostitution along with highways. She shot dead, robbed 7 of her male clients. She was I don't think I've heard of her before. Huh, interesting. Maybe I have. Maybe I've heard of them before. I don't know, just doesn't ring a bell right now. Cordelia, the movie was wildly inaccurate, portrayed Warnos as a victim instead of the sick F that she really was, says Rhiannon. Psychopathy cannot be rehabilitated. All right, so back to Mr. Allen. Holman testified police often will lie during interrogation interviews to elicit a reaction from a possible suspect. Yep. Holman shared that he had told Allen there had been witnesses who said they had seen Allen on the bridge. He also told Allen that an expert had determined that Allen was the man known as Bridge Guy in the video taken by Libby German on February 13, 2017. Holman admitted he lied to Allen when he talked about the death penalty and how it was still on the line. I don't think DP is on the line for him. What state is this again? Delphi. Where's Delphi again? Delphi. Indiana. This case seems rather shaky. Yeah, I just don't know if they're going to be able to... I don't know. I mean, the state's not done yet, right? We're still on the state is still presenting. I don't know. I mean, I hope they, if they have it, hopefully they have the evidence. Back it up. Holman testified the police will lie. Holman shared that he had told Allen there had been witnesses who said he had seen Allen on the bridge. He also told Allen that an expert had determined that Allen was the man known as Bridge Guy in the video taken by Libby German on February 13, 2017. Holman admitted he lied to Allen when he talked about death penalty and how it was still on the line. He said, Allen replied, "I'm not going to tell you something I didn't do." During the interview, Holman testified Allen said, "Take all your evidence and just arrest me." During cross-examination, defense attorney Andrew Baldwin questioned the interrogation methods used by Holman, specifically mentioning Allen's family. Holman testified he was simply trying to elicit a response from Allen. Defense attorney Andrew Baldwin asked why at the beginning of Allen's interview, when Holman claimed he read Allen his Miranda rights, was not recorded. Holman claimed technical issues. Oh man, technical issues. Hey Cordelia, yeah, we were just talking about the Delphi murder, so I was like, you know what, I want to read this court TV trial recap. Carolina, I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care, Carolina. Baldwin then suggested that was one of the many missing videotape recordings of the Richard Allen case. Well, that's not good. Baldwin also spent time asking Holman about the strand of hair found in Abby Williams' hand at the crime scene. Previous testimony from experts during the trial said it was a hair from a woman, possibly a relative of Libby. Baldwin asked why investigators never tested DNA from Libby's family after they discovered that. Holman said, "We decided not to test family hair because of the resources at the time, and we had no family female suspect." Shouldn't you just test it just in case? Day 9. Stacy Bozinovsky, a forensic psychologist, forensic scientist, and DNA analyst, testified about items taken from the crime scene and the essay kits collected from Abby and Libby. Bozinovsky said most of the swabs from the crime scene contained blood from Abby or Libby or mixture of both. The single strand of hair found in Abby's hands was determined to have come from Kelsey German, Libby's German's older sister. Kelsey drove the girls to the trail on February 13, 2017, and the last day they were seen by their families. Bozinovsky noted there was some male DNA found under the girls' fingernails and also from external genital swabs, but she added there was no sufficient DNA found. Oh, geez. That's a tough one. Bozinovsky showed the jury the cartridge found at the crime scene. She said it had a plant material on it and light brown dirt-like stain. She swabbed it to collect skin cells for DNA. She testified Monday morning that it was very difficult to get DNA samples from unspent cartridges. Bozinovsky found there was insufficient quantity of DNA for analysis. Boo. Bozinovsky says water from the creek made it difficult to remove any DNA and may have diluted any that there was. Bozinovsky said investigators sent 72 rootless hair fibers to the FBI for testing. 3 of them came back with DNA that was inconsistent with that taken of Abby and Libby. Bozinovsky decided not to do additional testing due to the likelihood that the fiber hairs would be destroyed. When asked if she found DNA belonging to Richard Allen on any tested item, Bozinovsky replied, "No, I did not." Oh, gosh. The defense questioned why DNA wasn't tested on the 3 rootless hairs that were termed inconsistent with DNA found from Abby and Libby. Again, Bozinovsky's claimed that she did not want to risk it. Maybe they can use those hairs for the future. You know, maybe like if they develop some new scientific way to test those hairs without damaging it, maybe that's what they can do. Eileen was electrocuted in Florida. Only woman to be put to death. Oh, gotcha. I'm gonna do homework with the kids. Have fun with the homework stuff. You had deja vu, Moondog. Jurors wanted to go home in the burn trial already. Bunch of lazy jurors. What happened with the burn trial? Blood splatter expert Patrick Cicero reset the crime scene for the jury, testifying about the injuries Abby and Libby suffered and his opinion on their positioning when killed. All right. Day 10. All right, where were we? Day 10. Day 10, 10/29, that was yesterday. Video evidence of Richard Allen's interview with police was seen in court for the first time. Are the interviews, are they online or just screenshots of it? On October 13, 2022, Allen met with the Indiana State Police at the ISP post in Lafayette. He was interviewed by former Delphi Police Chief Steve Mullen and Carroll County Sheriff Tony Leggett. Regarding his first interview with the authorities in 2017, Allen said that he went to the Carroll County Sheriff's Office to provide the tip of seeing 3 girls on the trail. When an officer called to discuss the tip, Allen said that he was headed to the grocery store. Allen paused and apologized, saying, "Forgive me. It's been years. I've thought about it a lot." He said he left the trails around 1:30 to 1:45 on February 13, 2017, but added that he forgot the timing, really. On the videotape of the interview, Leggett asked Allen how he got to the bridge after he parked. Allen said he walked along the road. Allen said he remembers seeing cars parked at the Mears entrance, but he said he was focused on trading stocks during his walk. Allen couldn't recall exactly what he was wearing that day, but he said he was wearing blue jeans, likely a Carhartt jacket, tennis shoes, military-style combat boots. He said in 2017 his jacket would have probably have been black. "I have sweatshirts, hoodies, I have a little bit of everything." Yeah, that'd be so hard to recall, like, what were you wearing? Investigators then asked Richard Allen if they could examine his phone. Allen asked, "How long would you have my phone?" Mullen read Allen the phone rights, to which Allen responded, "I'm not going to be somebody's fall guy. I was trying to be helpful. It honestly amazes me we're even talking. I don't want to be somebody's fall guy. Doesn't feel like a conversation. It seems like you've already think I've done this." Leggett told Allen they were just crossing T's and dotting I's. Oh, man. The video played in court shows Allen preparing to give his phone to the police, but he pulls back and says he needs to talk to his wife first. Indiana State Police investigator Jerry Holman. Does anyone know what is Richard Allen's wife? What does she think about this? Are they still together? Indiana State Police investigator Jerry Holman interviewed Allen on October 26, 2022. Portions of the interview were played for the jury. The video shows Allen denying any wrongdoing dozens of times. Holman told Allen he had been the last person to contact Abby and Libby. Allen again denied knowing them or ever interacting with them. The insides of Allen's mouth was sought for DNA by ISP investigators without any pushback from Allen. Holman continued to press Allen for a confession, telling him the ball was in his court. Allen responded, "You just took my DNA," and then seemed to laugh in disbelief. Jurors saw Richard Allen and his wife interacting in the interrogation room. After Allen's wife left, Holman's demeanor changed and Allen became more reserved. "If you're going to pay me for what you've done in my life, if you want to fuck with me, you can fuck with me, but leave my wife out of this," said Allen. Holman screamed at Allen, "You killed those fucking girls. I know you did." Ooh, things are getting heated. Christina Ricci played her girlfriend, but in the movie, the girlfriend had a different name. Eileen's girlfriend was named Tyra, and I can't remember what her name was in the movie, but I know it wasn't Tyra. The families have paranormal, oh gosh. For this one? For this case or a different case? Wait a second. Hold on. Didn't we talk about a case where they had like a paranormal person come in and testified? And I was like, how the hell did they let this person testify about this? Hold on. What was that? Didn't we read about that recently? There's a woman that testified and then she started talking about the paranormal stuff and how she held a seance to talk to the dead girls. Was it this case? Or was it a different one? Oh my gosh. Hold on. I completely forgot about that. But it was something that we read recently. Jurors heard testimony from officials at Westville Correctional Facility that said Allen confessed multiple times to the killings. None of these confessions were videotaped or recorded. Oh my God, why? All of them were written accounts of what Allen said the deputies assigned to monitor Allen's behavior and log what he told them. Seems like a nonsensical thing to do. I forgot, I don't know if it was this case. I feel like there was someone that testified and then they started talking about how they held like a seance or something to talk about how the victims died. They were able to connect the victims and like I was like, oh gosh, like rolling my eyes. WCF deputies also testified that Allen harmed himself while in custody, including banging his head on the wall, eating his feces, and drinking out of the toilet. Jesus. I think that's yeah, that's it. That's it so far. I definitely look forward to see how long this case is going to be. Oh, I guess I could have just read this synopsis. Let's see. Let me read this. Indiana man is facing up to 130 years in prison if convicted of killing 2 teenagers who were hiking just outside Delphi. 130 years. I don't know. We're going to need a lot more evidence. 52. Richard Allen is facing the murdering of 13-year-old Abigail Abby Williams and 14-year-old Liberty Libby German on February 13, 2017. Prosecutors say Allen acted alone when he abducted the girls from the abandoned railroad trestle known as Monon High Bridge. A key piece of evidence in the case is a cell phone video captured by Libby showing a man approaching the girls on the bridge and ordering them down the hill. The following day, searchers found their bodies about a quarter of a mile away on a private property. The case garnered national attention for years, but went cold until October 2022, when authorities announced they had arrested Allen, a pharmacy technician who lived and worked in Delphi. Since Allen's arrest, the case has been taking multiple twists and turns as evidence was leaked. Read about that. Allen's public defenders withdrew and were later reinstated. Defense filings claim Odinus were responsible for the girl's slaying. So that's, again, the ritualistic thing that I was talking about earlier. And special judge Fran Goll has ruled Allen's defense cannot submit any evidence that states the murders were committed by a third party at trial. But I wonder if that's something that could change, right? As the trial progresses. Judge Goll has banned cameras from the courtroom during Allen's trial. Reporters are also barred from taking any electronic devices inside the courthouse. Boo. All right. Well, I just wanted to read this, and since we were already streaming, I was like, I'm going to just read it on stream. Richard Allen defense says the authorities arrested the wrong guy. How can it be the wrong guy? He confessed 61 times. Could confessions be coerced? The only that I've heard so far, Carolina, was that, and this is from Andrew Barkard, who attended the trials, or the trial, was that the confession came out when he was already in solitary confinement for like over a year. And so maybe at that point he was like kind of like mentally deteriorating. He's like, you know what? Like, I'm just going to confess to make it easier for my family. I don't know. That's all I've heard so far. The defense is the cult did it for rituals. Dominique, but he started to confess to all sorts of weird things too. Again, feel free to join the Discord. I moved my vlogs to a second channel. Feel free to check that out if you guys like. And yeah, that's about it. Have a good day, Corgi and everyone. Good night or good day. Why say good night? Well, maybe it's night for you guys. Some of you guys might be nighttime. All right, I'm gonna work on the videos. Keep an eye out on that. We'll post the videos. We watched the George's family's interview and Mr. Owens. We'll post that onto YouTube. All right, guys, have a good one. Take care, and I will see you guys later. And then for the Delphi time of me just reading it on Court TV, I guess I could just post that too for those of you guys who are like, I don't know much about the Delphi case, but I'm kind of curious, but I'm too lazy to read on my own. So we'll post that. All right, y'all, have a good one. Bye. See you later.